Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of the Spirit and Soul Podcast. This is the Manifesting Playbook, episode number 3. This series is so much fun to do, and it's so exciting to do because, to be quite honest with you, I just love everything manifesting. Like you guys know, I am so much into healing and getting to like the mindset and the root of the things. And also, the reason that I love those things so much is because it creates space for manifesting. It helps you to bring in the things that you want. So, this series is just so important to me. And I love diving really deep into them and kind of going into the uncovering and also like pulling back the curtain on some things and to say that we're not looking at things fully and how we can really dive in deeper. So, this week's episode is all about visualization and belief. So, seeing it and feeling it and really making it real. Okay. So, visualization itself is probably one of the most talked about steps of manifestation because this is where, you're going to see it in your mind and it's going to come to you and you want to see it unfolding. And yes, right? Like, very much so. This step is really important. And I want you to understand that this step is not just about like a daydream. In fact, we can call it a daydream. You could call it whatever you want, because how many times have you daydreamed about something and then it happened, or like you started to like feel into it and like saw the dream start to unfold before your eyes and then it actually came to you. But I want you to not look at it as daydreaming, because oftentimes we think of daydreaming as a bad thing. And in fact, it can be such a beautiful use of your imagination and, of course, of manifesting. So I want to just kind of like give credit to the things that we use for visualization, the things that we talk about in visualization. Give them their credit because they are a lot of the things that are talked about, like vision boards, right? Like, manifesting through like meditation or, really all of the really popular ways that people work with manifestation and visualization. I want you to understand that those things are so important. But visualization is truly about teaching your subconscious and your energy field what to expect. I'm going to say that again. Visualization is more about teaching your subconscious mind and your energy field what to expect so that when it arrives, it feels more natural. Okay. So I want you to start thinking of visualization not just as the want, but as the rehearsal for things beginning to come to you. This is important because, and I don't know if I'm going to dive into this in this series because the series is already going to be long as it is, but I've talked about it in previous episodes. And that is when you actually get the manifestation, when you actually receive the things that you want, there is a messy middle. There is a time where the body needs to play catch up. And when because it's almost like you can't like believe that you have it. Can you hold on to it? You're becoming somebody new. You're stepping into a new timeline. And that is where the messy middle like kind of really can get you. And I feel like I'm actually in the messy middle right now as I'm recording this, and in a lot of the manifestations that I have been bringing to life very recently. And it kind of challenges you and challenges the version of you that once was. And also it's asking you to step into the version of you that's here. And that feels uncomfortable in the energy field. It feels uncomfortable in the subconscious mind because it's not familiar, right? And we talked about this, right? We have to make the unfamiliar familiar. So in that state, if you have not been prepping your mind and looking at it as a rehearsal, it could feel extremely uncomfortable. This messy middle can last for a long time. And then when it lasts that long, oftentimes you'll actually lose the thing that you have been calling in all this time because you don't feel either worthy of it. There were things like your energy field wasn't prepped for it, and you can lose it. I mean, I've heard stories of businesses that they made so much. They made like, I had $1 million year. They had like right off the bat. And it was like, like a mom that was doing like almost like a side hustle. And then it just blew up. And then she couldn't maintain it over time. Like she just couldn't stick with it. And whenever I hear of that, to me, it just sounds a little bit more of like a worthiness issue and more of a worthiness and less of it wasn't, like, oh, they just couldn't maintain it. They couldn't sustain it, or they didn't have like the strategies behind it. And maybe it is strategy. And also maybe their energy field was not prepared for that. And because there was no preparation for it, because there was no, the messy middle lasted too long. They felt like they couldn't energetically hold it and their energy wasn't matching. Like think about law of attraction here. The energy field is not matching up with the manifestation and it's here. Like at one point it did. It matched because it was probably very surrendered. Okay, which we're going to get to in another episode. It was probably surrender to it because like not even thinking it's going to be this huge thing. And then all of a sudden, boom, it's here, it's happening. And it's harder to hang on to from that state when there's no expectation of, or the real calling in of the thing, or if like you thought it would never happen. And then all of a sudden it's here and you're like, holy shit. Right. So I want you to remember, and you've probably heard this so many times before, is that your mind does not know the difference between what's happening now and what's happening in a visualization. It has no idea. It doesn't also know what happened in the past. Everything to your mind is in the present moment. So when you think about the past, you're literally living in the past. You can actually feel this. Like if you think about for a moment, actually, you can kind of do it right now. Ready? Think about a lemon, right? If you were like, I'm saying the word lemon. Think about a lemon and actually the taste of a lemon. Now, this is in the past, right? Like, unless you're like actually eating a lemon right now or like drinking anything with lemon in it. Like, for you, you've tasted a lemon. So right now, if I'm saying think of a lemon, you may even have like where your mouth is watering from it. Like you're already feeling that tart feeling because your brain thinks that you are eating a lemon right now. And that's how powerful your brain is. So, and that's like more living in the past. So your brain is on a constant present timing. It's you that is applying the meaning past, present, future. You're applying that meaning. So rather than applying the meaning of the future to a visualization, beginning to teach your mind that this is actually happening right now as if it's a rehearsal is freaking powerful. So I want you to start thinking about your visualizations more as rehearsals for the things that are coming to you, because your brain's going to be like, oh yeah, we already have all these things. Like it's here. This feels comfortable, right? So really starting to do that is amazing. Amazing. So visualization really matters because on a subconscious level, the brain wires experiences, real, vividly imagined, whatever it is, it's wiring them. That's why even if you have like an anxious moment, right? Like if you're thinking about something that could happen in the future and it never happens, you can feel it physically in your body. You can feel your heart start to beat faster. You could start sweating, all from a thought in your mind. So vividly imagine creates a lived experience in the body. Okay? So it's understanding vividly imagined and real things as the same exact thing. It's understanding it the same way. So visualization is in essence creating future memories. Okay? It's creating a future memory, right? We have a lot of past memories where we live in the past So we want to start creating future memories like, oh, yeah, I did this, right? Like I have a very vivid future memory of my beach house that I want. And that future memory is me running through the door because I was on a run, going up to the kitchen, going into the kitchen, the refrigerator, grabbing a drink. Like I have a memory of that, even though I've never actually physically been in this house ever, right? Like I don't even know what this house looks like from the outside. So I have a future memory of what the foyer looks like when you walk in and going up the stairs, and that the kitchen is a couple steps up. Like I can see those things. So energetically, like we were saying, like whereas if you can think about an anxious moment, you feel it, like you can feel your heartbeat faster, all of those things. The emotion during visualization is the frequency that magnetizes it. So if you are feeling anxious, you're going to magnetize everything that feels anxiety ridden to you if you're in an anxious state. But if you allow yourself to feel the emotions of the visualization, this is really, really powerful because now you're applying the emotion, which is the piece that's magnetizing, because I believe that we magnetize through the heart. So, and which is where we have our emotions, right? So if we begin to call that in, we're magnetizing it. You're magnetizing it to you through the emotions, through the heightened emotions of feeling that visualization. Okay. So if you're feeling happy, you're feeling content, you're feeling so grateful, which would be the one that you want to really weave in there. Okay. Because gratitude is a magnet for miracles. So you want to weave in gratitude. So you're feeling grateful, you're feeling in awe, you're feeling excitement, you're feeling love. Like, what are the things that you're feeling? What are those things? So there's like for a long time, and I was like, I'm like, should I share this? And like, you know what? Yes. So for a long time, I kept like having this feeling where it was like after I had given maybe a talk on stage and I would see this vision, not that I would create it. It was kind of given more to me, but now I live into it. And where somebody would come up to me in that vision and they would say that, and I'm signing books in there. So I must be my New York Times bestselling author, right? This is part of my manifestations. And I'm signing a book of theirs, and they say that the book changed their life. And they hug me, and she's crying, and I'm crying, and I can feel the emotion of that heart opening gratitude for the person. Like I can actually feel that. Like I have tears coming to my eyes right now, just like thinking about it. And for me, that took me a really long time to get there because there was a time in my life, and I speak very openly about this, but there was a time in my life where somebody would give me a compliment on my work with them, like whether it was a coaching client or maybe like something I said on Instagram or whatever. And I couldn't accept the compliment. I couldn't accept it in my heart. It was almost like I didn't feel worthy of it for whatever reason. And I worked through that over time. But to have that experience is like the ultimate heightened sense of like worthiness and like opening up my heart and knowing that I affected somebody's life in a really beautiful way. And that to me is really tying that deep emotion that even though I'm not even, I mean, I can see it right now, but I'm not actively like sitting in meditation and visualizing that, I can still tap into that emotion right now. So I want you to start to weave in the things that you get, the things that you experience, the things, like when I say the things that you get, meaning like if you have a vision that comes to you of where your life could go or like of another timeline and you like what you see, or maybe it feels scary but it's also like feels right at the same time, then I want you to start to continuously feel that throughout your day. Does that make sense? I hope it does. I know it does. And then from a quantum level, why visualization matters is that every potential exists. The good potentials, the bad potentials, whatever potentials you don't want, all of them really exist here. So visualization is how you're tuning the dial. You're tuning the dial to the thing that you want, right? It's like the radio station. You're tuning into what you want. You're showing the universe, this is the visualization. Okay. So the more vividly you can see it and you can feel it, the more your mind and energy really lock into that frequency. You lock into the frequency. So you want to make sure that you are actively visualizing, not just in meditation, but tapping into that future memory all throughout the day. Okay. Like, and not, you don't have to like have to keep doing it over and over, but like it could be a split-second thing. It could be like oh yeah, like you're in that memory for a minute. Like I see myself like walking up the stairs and going to the refrigerator. I like, it's split second and then you keep going, but allow yourself to go there. Feel the emotion for a moment. It's really, really powerful because visualization is going to help you to collapse infinite possibilities when you're choosing the reality. So you're going to like go like all of these possibilities, and now you're choosing one reality from all of the possibilities. So that is extremely powerful because that's where you're telling the universe, this is the one. This is the one. And the universe is going to say, there's something better. Maybe you just haven't seen the other possibility yet, but it's telling the universe, no, 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 right here. Okay. And I want to do like a little caveat here because not all of us are like we can't see. So when I'm saying visualizing, yes, if you can see it in your mind's eye unfolding like a movie, that's amazing. And also, it's not the only way to visualize, okay? You can visualize through feeling. And what I mean by this is you can feel all of the things. Like you can feel the energy of the room. Trying to explain, like, I am a person that when I do any kind of visualizing, any kind of meditating or manifesting, and I say, like, I'm in a room, the room doesn't appear to me as a visualization, like actually like a movie screen first. I will actually feel the energy of the things first. So I'll feel the energy of the stairs that I'm walking up. I'll feel the energy of my sneakers. I'll feel the energy of the refrigerator as I walk in, of the wood floor. But I don't see it first. It will then appear. But at first, I never, like when I first started this work, I wouldn't see things at all. I would only feel them. And then I could feel, and it's almost like I could piece together what the room looked like. So I want you to know this because I don't want you to get discouraged by not being able to see. Okay. Oftentimes people do get discouraged by that. And I just want to say that, like, please, we all see, feel, we all experience these senses differently. Okay, so next up, where people get stuck, like I said, there is that you could also feel like disconnected from your visualization. And that's truly where people will, I don't want to say that they get stuck, but this is where people lose sight of the fact that it's a memory. And I am telling you right now that you will make your meditations, manifestations, visualizations so much more powerful when you see them as memories rather than as a vision in front of you. And where they get tripped up is they are not applying emotion to it. Okay. So we are making sure now that we are going forward with emotion. We are going forward with connecting to the visualization as if it's a memory. The other thing here and where people get stuck is this: there is no consistency. Honey, you got no consistency when it comes to your practice. You have no consistency when it comes to feeling into it every single day. And where intention goes, energy flows. So if you are not feeling into it, you are not trying to visualize it, you are not feeling the heightened emotions from it, then it will not come to you quickly. So you have to make time and space for the consistent effort where consistency compounds. Okay. Consistency compounds. And now the other thing is this: belief. So if you don't believe that you can ever have the thing that you want, you're going to create massive resistance in your body. Your body's actually going to be like, no, I don't know about that. No, that's never going to happen. That's scary. That's fear. And you're going to start feeling fear around it. And I want you to understand the deep, deep truth about visualization and belief. And the thing is that visualization and belief are inseparable. They are inseparable. You cannot visualize without also encoding the belief system that comes with actually attaining that visualization. So you may not believe right away, and you may have to climb a belief ladder in order to really believe that you could have the things that you want. But the quicker that you can get up that ladder, the quicker your manifestation will come for you. It will come to you because your subconscious mind is going to start accepting what's repeated. And if you keep repeating that you are, through emotion and through the visualization and through embodiment, that you believe that this thing is happening, that this is coming to you, that this is for you, the more you can have that with your subconscious mind, the more that you are telling it that it is so, that it is real, and that it is what? Familiar. And when you make something familiar, the subconscious mind really accepts it. Now, also, part of this is the nervous system, right? The nervous system has to feel safe in the things, and it's not going to feel safe if the subconscious belief system is saying this is not safe, right? So the nervous system and the belief system are really going to play into one another. I mean, honestly, this is where my $1 billion healer method really shines, is because it's working with the nervous system and the subconscious mind in order to create safety for the things that you want within the body and clearing out that old belief system. Because your mind is going to accept what you tell it. And if you tell your mind that you're not worthy of something, that this is not true, that you can't have this, and you've told it that in the past, that you're not good enough, not smart enough, not fill in the blank enough, right? Your mind has accepted it and will try to keep you safe from those things where it thinks you can get hurt by not feeling enough. So getting to the bottom of what these things are is extremely important because it plays into the belief system. Logically, you could know that you are enough. Logical brain is like, of course I'm enough. Of course I'm enough. But you could have told your brain something or experienced something where your brain is like, oh no, we got to keep this one safe when it comes to this. And it be extremely hard. You will create massive resistance in your body if you don't know what it is and you're trying to go for it. And the mind is continuously fighting against it. You're going to find yourself self-sabotaging. So really understanding this and working with this is powerful. Now, belief, like I said, is a ladder. Okay. So I don't expect you to jump from 0 to 100 like that. And honestly, you're not going to be able to if you're not working through the nervous system and through the belief system. You're just not going to be able to do it. But what you can do is continuously see that vision and then also see the visions that build into it. So I want you to start to do that. So for me, like I would see this big, let's say this big, huge vision of like this beach house, which must mean that I'm making a certain amount of money. I must be doing certain things in order to get there, right? So if you could start to actually look at the big picture and the big visualization and start to say, okay, how do I start to back into this? Now you're breaking it down and saying, okay, well, it must mean if I have this in this lifetime and I'm feeling like this in this timeline, then it must mean that I have achieved this. And if I'm going to achieve this, what would have to be true at like the lower end of the belief ladder? What would have to be true there? And what would have to be true is that I must have spoken on a stage. I must have been able to actually do this. And you can start to now say, okay, well, maybe I'm not ready for a stage of 100 people, but maybe I'm ready to teach a class. And then you can start to visualize yourself teaching a class. And maybe that feels a little bit more attainable and a little bit more palatable, while also keeping your finger on the pulse of the bigger vision. Because I don't want you to let go of the bigger vision at all. What I want you to do is keep the pulse on the bigger vision and say, okay, I'm going to get there. Okay, how do I start to back into that? And that is powerful. Okay, that is powerful. So starting to climb that ladder of belief is really it's I'm going to say it again, it's powerful. It is a powerful part of the manifestation process, because most of the time you're just like, ask, believe, receive. And it's like, but how do I freaking believe, right? Like, how do I believe it if I've never had it, if it feels too big, if it, right? And you start to ask yourself these questions. So looking at belief in this way kind of breaks it down into bite-sized pieces while also still keeping your finger on the bigger picture. Okay. So looking at the subconscious mind, what I want you to do is start treating visualization as building muscle memory. Okay. And it's muscle memory for your mind. And the more that you practice the visualization and the more that you practice all of the things, the less resistance you're going to have, and the more open your body, your nervous system, your mind, the subconscious mind is going to feel to allowing the things in, which also raises your vibration. And if you're raising your vibration, you're getting closer and closer to the frequency of the thing that you want. Because, by the way, how do you know that you're not vibrating at the frequency of the thing you want? You don't have it. It's not even in your scope. Okay. It's not even near you. So you know that you're close, or that it's there when you can feel it. It's in your vision. It's being talked about. Things are in the works, or you have it, because law of attraction, right? Now, when we look at everything from an energetic standpoint, emotions, again, are the amplifier. So we're layering this in. Emotions are the amplifiers. So the stronger the feeling, joy, gratitude, really sit in gratitude, freedom, the stronger that broadcast is going to be for you. Okay. And then when we look at the quantum field, when we're looking at the quantum level, in quantum physics, the act of observation influences the outcome. We actually spoke about this on one of the live sales very, very recently. For me, it was yesterday. For you, it's going to be a few weeks ago. But Brittany and I were just talking about this. This is the observer effect, okay? Or the split. You can look at this. I think it's called the split test. Split test? Oh my God, I can't remember. But in quantum, look it up, because it's actually incredible. But your observation is going to influence the outcome. It's going to influence what's there and what you see. So visualization is conscious observation of the version of reality you're choosing. So I want you to take it into perspective this way. Visualization is conscious observation of the version of reality you're choosing. It's the timeline that you're choosing, and you're watching it unfold, and you're seeing it unfold. And if you're seeing it unfold and you know that you're tapping into a timeline, that means that it is a memory, a future memory. Okay. So keeping all of this in your mind, into perspective, knowing that your subconscious doesn't need convincing, it just needs rehearsal, that your energy responds to the emotion, not just empty pictures that you're watching, emotion. And when you visualize, you're actually observing the reality you want. And observation is creation. Observation is creation. So if you're watching it and you're seeing it, you're creating the possibility, and then you're tuning that radio dial into that moment. And you're telling the universe, this is it right here. Okay. So All of this being said, what I want you to do is number one, start to visualize with all of that emotion and all of the things. Start to really put it into your day, start to experience it in your day, whether it's just fleeting moments or maybe you take a minute and just feel into it and allow yourself to continuously broadcast that frequency. Look at your belief system. Where are you in the belief ladder? Okay. And you could believe that you can achieve those things, but where are you in this moment on the belief ladder? Once you dial those things in, then you can start to work backwards and figure out how to piece up that belief ladder until you can get to the top. And ultimately, that's where you want to be. So, I hope that you enjoyed this episode of the Spirit and Soul podcast. I hope that you are enjoying this manifestation playbook series because I know that I am. I hope you're getting a lot out of this, and make sure that you tune into the next installment of this series because we're going to continuously dive into these manifestation principles in a really deep and powerful way. See you next time.